Hi, this is Dee with Critical Break, and it is Thursday, September the 13th, 2018. It is 4 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll start the stream with my usual preface to, for anybody that's new that doesn't understand what this is about. The work I do here is for all religions, all races, all backgrounds, no matter what your beliefs are. They are my messages from Adonai and Gabriel, and I'm sharing my experiences with them and my life. I'm documenting my journey in this realm we call planet Earth, Gaia. I call the holodeck. You all knew when you were a child of pure soul spirit, before all the trauma of this place, that something seemed off. Something just didn't feel right. You were told to stop daydreaming, and you were told to stop asking the question, why? This is part of the virus wanting to keep you from remembering who you really are. You are indeed beings created in the image of the Creator. What does that make you? That makes you fledgling creators. And you're far, far more powerful than it was ever let be known. I am here to remind you of that. I'm here to guide you, to help you remember, to help you stop feeding the virus. This also has everything to do with genetics. Those of you that come to the channel that have paranormal or autoimmune disorders, well, you all have those. Or if you haven't shown or exhibited signs yet, you will. These people are targeted individuals, and many have been used in and have memories of being in government projects and all kinds of things that have happened to them. Some of you may not have any memories of anything like that at all. But if you share these genetics, this information is definitely for you. You must ask yourself, could what I am saying possibly be true? Please don't leave in judgment based on what you've been programmed to believe. Try to connect with your innocence, the true you, before all the indoctrination and programming when listening to this material. Anyway, fantastic Thursday to everybody. We have a hurricane sitting out on the East Coast in the Carolinas, just north of Georgia, the very northern area of Georgia. It's probably going to experience, it depends on how it goes, but they're at least going to get rain. That's for sure, a lot of it. During the stream I did on the 11th, I should have, now this is where the subject material of the stream is fledgling creators, soul contracts, and energy. And I wanted to speak with you all about energy first. We'll get that one out of the way. You all, because you are what you are, you have far more power than you were ever told. And many of you may have experienced some abilities as children and were made to feel like you were weird or different. So you squashed them. You pretended you didn't have them. You quit using them for fear of judgment, particularly from your peers or family or church or what have you. It's all part of the programming to keep you from being and remembering who you truly are. You are indeed fledgling creators created in the image of the Creator. That makes you powerful. And I was thinking, it dawned on me after I did the stream, I really meant to talk to you all about this part. This trauma-based system that you're in, what it will do, and this is a good way to help you identify the virus too. It will forecast a situation such as the hurricane. And not only does the virus get a feed off of the fear that's being generated because of the forecast, because it's all over the place. You can't miss it. Like I said, you release a specific type of energy when you're in fear mode. So it's feeding time for the virus. So anybody who forecasts doom and disaster as a method of trying to control you, aka natural disasters particularly, those people are further traumatizing you. And here's the thing. With junior creators, fledgling creators, you have a lot of power, especially when it's combined power. And what that means is if you all are thinking about something negative at the same time, think about what that would do. You can actually be an unwitting partner to making things much worse than they would have been. So when you're thinking, oh, hurricane, and the headlines keep saying, oh, this is going to be the biggest one ever, and all this other stuff, and you get that in your head and you're thinking that, and there's a whole bunch of you doing the same thing, you're actually having an effect. And I don't know if you all realize that. I don't think that people have really thought about that, because as creators, that combined thought energy can actually amplify what's going on there. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. So whenever, and definitely stay out of fear, because you'll be feeding the virus if you get into fear mode. You need to try to stay as much in your child innocence, in your true self, as you possibly can. And I know it's difficult. It's not an easy task. The more you do it, though, the easier it does get. So try to keep that in mind. When they start forecasting doom and disaster, don't feed into it. Don't let it become part of your thoughts, because you could actually enhance what's going on there. So a hurricane that would have been a 1 or a 2, or maybe a tropical storm, you guys could quite possibly make it much worse and not even realize you're doing it. So I just wanted to make you super aware of that. I meant to actually talk about that in the last stream, and I didn't get to that far into the point. But now that you're aware of that, you'll be on the lookout for those things. And it's the virus. The virus will use you to its ends. It's feeding time for them. So keep that in mind. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to look at the chat and see how everybody's doing. Hello, Miss Kate. How are you? It's great to see you all. Very good to see you guys. But yes, as a combined force, fledgling creators can make things happen. Big things. And I plan on exploring that with you all in the future on things that we could do as a group. Now, there are groups out there that have already thought of these things, that you are creators, and they're working for the good of everybody here. And I've seen them, some online groups that will do meditations together and focus in on certain events to help alleviate an issue like Hurricane Harvey particularly. There was a lot of people working on that, and it worked. So, because I think it would have been much worse if they hadn't. But with the one that's going on right now, with Florence in particular, I don't think it's going to be quite as bad as projected. Originally, they made it. Oh, they made it sound like, yeah, you guys saw the headlines. But not that it's not going to be bad, because it's definitely got a punch to it. But I don't think it's going to be quite what they predicted. At least I've been doing as much energy work as I can, possibly physically, in every way, over and over and over again for the last couple of days now. So hopefully that will help. And at least it's worth a shot. You never know. So anyway, I just wanted to talk to you all about your energy and trying to keep your energy up. Yeah, Miss Kate says, the idea of negative energy harvesting clicked internally for me about 6 months ago, like a light bulb. Yeah. They use you. They use you. I'm impervious to the scare tactics now. That's so awesome. I'm glad that you recognize that's what was happening, because they do. They use your power and you don't even know it. You don't know you have that power because they kept you clueless. But you do have that power. And they've been manipulating you into using it. And that's the virus. That's the evil on this planet. Using you like puppets on a string. So now that you're aware that that is a thing, try to make sure and not feed it. As a matter of fact, do quite the opposite. Do exactly the opposite of what they were wanting you to do. Okay? So, fun stuff, right? Anyway, I wanted to make sure you guys were well aware that you are powerful beings. You just don't realize it yet, not fully. Some of you do. Some of you are just becoming aware. And ones that are new here, you are, believe it or not. You've got abilities. You've got a great deal of energy, especially in a combined effort. So always keep that in mind. I was going to go over a couple of things real quick, and then we'll get down to the soul contracts. Okay. Anywho, so let's see. I'm going to share screen here in a sec. Oh, I've been researching the Essenes and the Sagacenes, because there's more than one group there. And the Sagascenes really resonated with me because the tribe of Asher as well seems to be more of the party time group. In other words, food, wine, have a good time, music, that sort of thing. So that resonated with me a lot. The other thing I wanted to tell you about the Essenes, and this is interesting because I tend to lean this direction anyway, is they're vegetarian. And also, by the way, the scriptures, the ancient texts have been heavily manipulated, as I always say. And the parts of the King James that say that Jesus fed, or the New Testament or whatever, fed fish, bread and fish. It wasn't fish. The ancient text said it was bread and grapes, not fish. So there's the virus and its little twist, because if you look at the ancient text, it tells you not to eat flesh, including fish. They ate dairy products, eggs, things like that, but no meat. They also thought that you could achieve much more in your spiritual journey if you did not eat flesh. And I think they're right. I think there's something to that. Now, some of you are going to go, oh no, because you've been a part of the system where almost every meal included meat. And sometimes every meal, depends on your family. So I don't think it's expected for you to change overnight, but just be aware of it and see what you can do. I've always naturally been very leaned towards vegetables, particularly fruits somewhat, much more than meat. And my body does not process proteins right, especially meat. So it's not a complete shocker to me that they were vegetarian at all. So I just wanted to kind of that's something I learned about the Essenes and the Sadducees. Dehydrated from earlier. I did that over 2-hour code video. And I like hardly drank any water during that and haven't really gotten 2 cents. So anyway. Oh, let's see. I'm going to do a share screen. What was it I wanted to share with you all? Oh, let's see if I can get this back up. Okay. You know how I talked about, I'll go ahead and do a share screen real quick. Here we go. Off to the races. You know how I talked to you all about the United States, well, the Trump's White House has decided they're not going to recognize the International Criminal Court system. They also, in one fell swoop, not only did they say they weren't going to recognize anything coming from there, but they also kicked the PLO out of their Washington office, which is the Palestine Liberation Organization. All in one fell swoop. Then, the following day, now, like I said, the virus is in its death throes and desperate, and it's scared. Otherwise, these things would not be happening, because they have to save face, to keep everybody kind of on the fence and in between, or make it appear they're riding the fence when in actuality everything behind the scenes is working for one side. So, anyway, the very next day, or actually, was it the next day or the the day of? This is the 11th. Trump administration adopts new definition of anti-Semitism in schools. Now, talking and speaking against some other race because of their race is not cool in anybody's book, not on my team. But let me stress something here. If you speak out against China, nobody says anything. If you speak out against Russia, nobody says anything. If you speak out against Germany, nobody says anything. The only country you cannot speak out about is Israel. Now, once again, what do I always tell you guys? You must ask the question, why? Never stop asking the question, why? Why is it the only country that you can't speak out against is Israel? Why is that? Why do they get that designation and nobody else does? You must ask the question, why? So, why can't China say it's against their civil rights if you talk out against them? See what I'm saying? Doesn't quite feel right, does it? Something doesn't feel right about this. Why is there special handling there? You really have to start asking why. Anyway, so the virus is running scared, or it wouldn't be pulling all this stuff, boom, 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 back to back like that. You know, the games they play, standard tricks of the book. And we covered the book, their playbook, how the virus operates. It controls all sides of an issue. The opposition, everything. It controls everything, or tries to. But it's losing its grasp, and it's getting desperate. And that's apparent to me. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you because then, you know, not only did they say they're not going to recognize an international criminal court that's supposed to keep all countries honest, they threw the PLO out of Washington, their Washington office, and then this started up. And it's like, well, why isn't there something to do with speaking out against Chinese students in the schools? Why isn't there something to keep people from speaking out against blacks in the schools? Why are these people getting such special treatment? What happened to free speech, by the way? Seriously, ask why. Anyway, another thing, you know how in the codes we covered Ganymede a little bit this on the 11th, and Jupiter keeps coming up, and purple Gaia keeps coming up, and in the codes. And just like Ganymede coming up in my code, and suddenly the news is talking about exo moons being possibly inhabitable. Ganymede has its own magnetic field. Very interesting for a moon. So not only that, but Jupiter itself, that moon is double covered because of Jupiter's very bizarre magnetic field. And you have to remember, Jupiter is a gas giant, okay? And based on the occulted knowledge and information taken from the Bible, basically, and other places, Jupiter is supposed to become a sun. This would not surprise me. Think about the magnetic field of our sun. So, and the fact that it's a gas giant, anybody got a match? Well, there's a match, all right. But we'll go over that later. Anyway, according to the occulted text, Jupiter will become a sun. And it makes perfect sense, especially when you look at the magnetic fields, the fact it's a gas giant. There's just so many things, and Jupiter keeps coming up over and over and over again in the codes. So I just thought this was interesting that first the Ganymede exo-moon thing in the codes, then boom, in the news, they start talking about the moons of Jupiter, and Ganymede was in there too, talking about the fact that it had its own magnetic field and everything. And then the codes talk about Jupiter, and boom, it starts talking about Jupiter, right? Kind of interesting, the timing, a little bit synchronistic, I'd say. Anyway, there's that. This is, let me refresh this. This is a current map of the hurricane. And as you see, it is indeed breaking apart. You see this right here, all this clear in here? That wasn't there before. It is coming apart. So that's good news. And if you look at the color charts of the colors that are in here, the amount of rain coming there is not, or the strength anyway, of the storms that are on the arms of the bands are not as bad as they could be, that's for sure. And it is breaking apart. So that's good news. And we can hope that that continues. But I think the people that are getting it the worst are, well, exactly where this little outline is the people that are getting the worst of it. So that would be New Beach area. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you all to see that it is indeed coming apart. That it's losing its center totally, and it's the center part's much bigger, this part, and then all this extra in here now that wasn't there before, plus this out here. So it's definitely losing its thing. Something else I wanted to share with you all, and I didn't get it pulled up before. Let me do that now. I wanted to show you something that I noticed prior to the let me find it. Prior to the storm here locally, it's been bizarrely clear and chemtrail free for a week. But I want you to see something. Look at this. This is out in North Carolina. Just wait. Looky there. Wow. Wow, right? I think they commissioned all the planes that fly over the central part of the U.S. and had them go over and hit the East Coast, because these guys had a ton of chemtrails. Anyway, I just wanted to show that briefly so that you guys could see all those chemtrails. Yes, they actively try to manipulate the weather. There's no doubt about it. No doubt in my mind. So anyway, we're going to go over, scroll this back up, about soul contracts. Because back in May, remember I said the forced reincarnation stuff was over. There was this huge victory and the forced reincarnation was over, done with. And so we're all, to that point, all the soul contracts that have been going on. Null, void, over with, done. Problem is the virus has been working very hard at trying to get you all to make new ones. And this link is in the description, so you can follow along, kind of look it over if you want to. These are different declarations: sovereignty and soul contract revocation. So there's many of them here. The main point with this is to really internally mean it. In other words, if you need to, get mad, which I would, because they're sneaky. It's so sneaky and insidious the way they get you to do soul contracts and not even realize you're doing it. So in order to keep you clear and cleaned out from all that, I would do this every once in a while, okay? And when you do it, just mean it. It's not, the words are important too, but the feeling behind it is what matters the most, okay? And you will want to do these, you know, get mad and you're not taking it anymore. You're done. You're done being used and manipulated. And you're just, it's over. They don't get to use you anymore. Okay? Because they've been using you and lying to you for so long. It's incredible. And you really need to be indignant about it and get past it, be mad about it. And it's like, I'm done. This isn't happening anymore. Not to me. I'm done. They're not using me. So, so all of you have actually been and aren't even aware of it. Multiple government projects. You've been a part of it and don't even know it. Think about this. If you ever watched a television, you are part of a government project. Okay? If you ever listen to the radio, you are part of a government project. If you contracted Lyme's disease, West Nile, or any other insect-borne disease, you are a government project survivor. If you've ever had a vaccination, you are a government project survivor. The list goes on and on and on. If you're just so unaware of what's happened to you and all the different ways they've used you, it's, like I said, it's insidious. And it's under the guise of entertainment. Okay? So I don't think people ever think about those things. Oh, I've never been involved in a government project. They've never used me. Bet me. Bet me. I guarantee there's not a person walking the face of this planet that has not been. So the only ones that possibly, and they're messing with them too, are some of the indigenous peoples that are way off in the Amazon rainforest, and they're finding them. They're actually using the, what you call it? Yeah, the little, why can I not think of what they're called right now? It just like popped out of my head. Why can't I not think of it? I hate that. Anyway, the little remote controlled spy machines that fly in the air, those. They are using those to spy on those native tribes that are untouched. Now they're touched, right? It's like they can't leave anything alone. They have to infest and infiltrate everything. It's the virus. Now you think about that. Would you do that to a tribe that's like knowing, especially what you know about how horrible the system, this trauma-based system is? Would you want to force that upon a tribe that's seemingly been able to stay out of the limelight and away from it? It's like, oh, those poor people. Look what we go through. Look what we've been through. You wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy, right? So anyway, the soul contracts. You make them and don't even realize it. Simple things can cause them. And the virus is, this is, they're old hat at it. These are old games to them. So every once in a while, I would suggest doing, and like I said, I left a link down there. There's videos on how to do it and things like that. But the thing that really counts is meaning it. You know, get mad about it. Tell them it's over. They're not using you. Okay. And so you can look at these different declarations and revocations, and you can switch the words around a bit if you want. But look over the different ones, and it wouldn't hurt to do a different one each time that you do it, because I would do this periodically just to keep yourself clear. But there's multiple ways to do it. You can even change words. Like some of them will say Jesus. You can say Emmanuel or Adonai, and things like that. Just whatever feels right to you so that you're saying it with conviction. Okay. Another thing people have asked me, if they run up against a negative deity or something that's bugging them, the word Jesus does work, but I think it may create, when you call a name of an entity out for help, you can initiate a soul contract because they helped you. A negative, evil entity will make that a contract, and now you owe them something. Okay? So you have to be careful calling out names to get rid of nasties. So what I would do is you could invoke Gabriel, Adonai, Michael, Raphael, or Phanuel. Any of those names or all of them, to get the help you need, because you will not create a soul contract by doing that. Okay? So those are the names I would use when you're trying to get rid of anything nasty or negative. Or let's put it this way. The virus loves to feed upon you because you're really good food, because you have a lot of energy, because you're fledgling creators. And the ones with MTHFR, I have a feeling, are really special, like a special type. And that's why they go after you so hard. But I would say, for instance, when you're a bright light in a sea of black and you're the food source, you're like a beacon and they home in on you. Okay? So what you need to do is prepare yourself with that knowledge that you are a beacon in a sea of black. And knowing this will help you. Say, for instance, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and something just doesn't feel right. And you're in this horrible bad mood and you're having horrible thoughts and stuff. It's likely one of the negative ones affecting you. So invoke Adonai, Gabriel, Phanuel, Michael, Raphael, one of those. That's the highest of the high that you can get. And you won't hurt yourself with a contract by doing that. Anything else, I would be concerned about forming a contract in doing so. Also, be super careful with mantras and things like that, because you can actually cause a soul contract using a mantra. So just be diligent, be aware. You're going to make mistakes. There's no way around it. You're just now finding out this is even possible. So you want to make sure and clear yourself every now and again, because you're going to make mistakes. Nobody expects you to be perfect, even though in my eyes you are perfect. Okay? But you are fledglings and you're learning. And that's what's important here. You're just learning. So, like I said, I'm here to remind you and guide you. I'm not controlling you. There's nothing of that nature going on here, period. Ever. There never would be. I'm not going to fear you into doing something you don't feel like's right for you either. But you look at these and you can make them your own, okay? Just as long as you do it every once in a while and keep yourself clear. Because it's of utmost importance to me that you are protected in every way that I can conceivably think of. Okay? So anyway, the link is in the description. There's several of them here. There's videos you can look at inside that link. And you can look up other ones. I mean, just whatever feels right to you. Use your gut instinct. Because that's one thing I want you guys to start learning, is to rely on that initial feeling you get from something. If that initial feeling feels off or funny or negative, then you know, it'll help train your abilities, because you have abilities. I guarantee it. You have them. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing and see what you guys are doing in the chat. Oh, don't want to stop broadcasting. I'm drinking water because I'm dehydrated. So, and we do. MTHFR people have a horrible time with hydration. It's a thing. It's great to see all of you. Let's see what everybody's saying. I hope you guys understood what I was laying down there. And let me know if you have any questions or anything. And I'll scroll down and see if there was any. Okay. The animals told you. Okay. Yeah, animals. You can learn to read animals quite well. That's an ability you all have. And you probably already do it and are unaware you're doing it. Oh, goodness. Wasn't sure about the eggs, cheese. Yeah. Yeah, you want your nuts. The Essenes, their diet was nuts and dairy and fruits and vegetables and eggs and things like that. Nothing that required blood sacrifice on your hands of any kind, not even an extended sort. So if you go vegetarian, I think it's an awesome idea. And I think it will speed your process when you're doing that, reconnecting with your true self and remembering who you really are and getting memories back and things like that. I think it'll speed that process. So I'm really glad I read up on the Essenes because I have a funny feeling, because you've been here a few times, some of you, most of you. And I believe that our MTHFR brothers and sisters could very well be the Essenes and the Sadducees. So, and that's like the most ancient of the peoples. And they were, well, just take a look at it yourself. You'll see what I'm talking about. Let's see. And yeah, they used plants, medicinals and things like that. So I can see why the virus has been so against natural cures, keeping you away from the true you. Okay, let's see if there's any questions or anything. I'm going down still. Yeah, that's hard because you all, many of you, your household, you were raised on meat. So, like I said, I wouldn't expect you to overnight, but maybe start slowly cutting it out. And I think you'll find I already could barely eat it anyway, and very rarely have any. And if I did, it was like from people I know. And it's organic, and the animals were very, very well cared for. But just knowing what I know now, I'm just going to give it up altogether because I was close enough to that anyway. And I've been completely vegetarian many times. So for me, that switch will be easy. It's just natural. My body, that's what I've always liked, is vegetables, fruits, and things like that. So for me, it'll be easy. But for some of you, it may be more difficult. So don't be hard on yourself. Just remember, you'll get your memories back and your abilities back quicker. If you change your diet over. So the faster you can make that transition, the better for you. But like I said, it's not cut and dry. It's not a command. It's just, I think it would help you. So, ergo, give it a try if you want to try it. So anyway, yeah, they're elitist. That's correct. The Zionist. It's interesting because generally Semitic, um, well, the term used to mean of dark skin. So that included Native Americans. And now suddenly there's been an addition to the definition. And that addition was Israel or Jewish. And what's interesting is the ones that are perpetrating this don't have dark skin. They're perfectly white. You must ask why. The why. The big why question. Never stop asking questions. Never let that curious little child inside of you be tamed. Ah, yes, they still believe they're chosen. I believe my, here's my thoughts. If they keep you from remembering who you truly are and keep you from rediscovering yourself, They would keep you from any sort of ascension process. And they get to keep you and control you in doing so because you would never progress. That's what's going on here. Plain and simple. You're their cattle. They feed upon you in every conceivable way. Okay? I'm here to put a stop to that. Me and my team. It's not just me. There's 3 of us, plus a whole bunch of other backups. Let's see. If Jupiter becomes a star, it will be game over for Earth. That is correct. Yeah, Jupiter's gravity does protect our planet. It's got crazy, well, you saw. Yep. But something's been in the works for a very, very long time. Like I said, what's happening now is written in the stars, and that's no joke. So don't worry. Okay? Don't let that make you fear. Because what's going to happen is going to rid us of the virus once and for all. And like I said, they all can hide in their hidey holes. They can all think they're going to get on ships and take off and leave here. Nobody escapes this. Yeah. I've seen some things. Trust me, you're all right. Don't have to worry. Definitely don't want you to. Let's see. That chart was showing infrared, which is going to be mostly water. So, and that's for Kirby was asking, is that wind or water? I believe you were talking about the NOAA site. Yeah, that was an infrared. I'm not sure what the sustained wind speeds. Last I heard, some places inland were looking at like 50 miles an hour or something like that. 35 to 50 or something of that nature. I don't know what it is now as far as where it, ground zero's at. I don't know if there's any reports in or not. What's the government doing with these projects? Controlling you. That's what the government does with these projects. Yeah, drones. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. It's just like, yeah, the little flying things, right? Oh gosh. Yeah, a lot of the fish is contaminated. And it is basically, like I said, they switched things up in the Bible and said that he passed out bread and fish. That was a total lie. It was bread and grapes. Yeah. They had you eating flesh so you could be like them. See what I'm saying? And keep you from your ascension. Yeah. When you have chickens or a cow that's a dairy cow and you're getting milk and butter and or eggs and all that stuff, I could not. I just couldn't bring myself to hurt them. The only way I would ever hurt an animal in that fashion is if it was in agony and dying. and I knew it would end it. Because I know what happens when they leave their body, and it'd be merciful in every way. That's the only way I could do it. And it would still bother me, but it would bother me more to watch them languish and put them through that. See what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. Anybody have any questions about today and about relinquishing contracts, what names to invoke if you feel like something negative is messing with you, energy wise or otherwise? Any questions at all? Because that's what I'm here for. Like I said, ask why. Ask questions. They're always welcome. Yeah, as long as it's humane. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if I'll do a video between now and Sunday, but definitely on Sunday, as far as I know. And trying to think if anybody ever wants to come on and just have a chat and share your experiences, or give us information, such as somebody that's an expert on EMF or RF, cell towers, anything that can help the community with protecting themselves. That would be awesome. Or just any ideas at all. I'm completely open to it. And so make sure you email me at criticalbreak@outlook.com, and I'll get you set up. And I know we'd love having you here, and the information's always welcome. So anyway, I was going to see what you said here. Author. Oh, she was on Shane. Oh, see, I missed that because I did the code video this morning, and that took way longer than I thought. That 333 was a long one. It was fascinating though, wasn't it? But so I didn't get, and then in between I was talking with a friend and trying to get a bite to eat, and yeah, so I didn't get a chance to. I'll look in on that though. I'll watch the replay of his show. That's awesome. Thank you for letting me know. That's awesome. Lots of synchronicity. Yes, you're right. Tons, right? Look at the codes and what's popping up in the news. Freakish, right? Really bizarre. Anyway, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic weekend. And if I don't see you before Sunday, I'll see you then. And yeah, hang in there. Keep doing your inner work, connecting with your real self. And the email is criticalbreak. I'll put it in my chat. Yeah, and if you guys have any ideas of something that you want to do or see or something like that, like I said, I'd really like to get into doing some group things where we better what's happening here. I think it'll make it easier for all of us if we do. So anyway, love you guys from my inner innocence, the little kid that enjoys spending so much time with you and goofing off and monkey feet and little flying things in the sky, because I can't remember the name, drone, right? And all that, from here to the stars and back 1,000 times, times 1,000, times 1,000. Love you guys. All right. Have a super great weekend, and I'll see you Sunday, if not before. Night.